Let me join you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's an absolute honor for me to be here with you today alongside such great activists. And those were tough acts to follow, by the way. Even our invocator this afternoon was amazing. By the way, I'm reminded of Psalms 24:3 that says that even in the darkest valley, I shall fear no evil because I'm accompanied by the Lord. Think about that. As we fight, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot be afraid of what's ahead of us. And make no mistake about it, we've got a tough battle ahead of us. There is no doubt about it. The legislation coming out of corrupt Sacramento politicians is pernicious. Jessica mentioned some of those, like Assembly Bill 665, which is almost appropriately numbered. That legislation allows children as young as 12 to make medical decisions about their bodies without parental consent, and also allows government bureaucrats coming out of Sacramento to determine whether those same children can be placed in shelters. Think about that disgusting violation of the public trust. Yeah. We also have another pernicious item, 1078 Assembly Bill that was just approved by the governor last month and will go into effect in 2025, that affects the curriculum in the schools and takes away the authority of local school boards who are elected by parents in those individual communities for making decisions about what's right for their children. Now you will have government bureaucrats in Sacramento dictating the curriculum and the textbooks for children. That is unacceptable, and it's also dangerous. There is a socialist dictator from the 1930s in Germany. You know who I'm talking about, and he was left-wing, by the way, a racist left-wing dictator who said that if you own the youth, you gain the future. That's what he said. And that cold, sinister perspective from a repugnant leader actually happens to be true. So we need to fight, ladies and gentlemen, to repel this corrupt agenda. Yeah. And I want to share with you, ladies and gentlemen, that there is hope for optimism. The stakes have never been higher. This is our Plessy versus Ferguson legislation that we want to overturn eventually. Yeah. And so the stakes are really tough, ladies and gentlemen, but I want you to know that the tide is turning in our direction. Woo! That is the truth. Not only do we have the moral high ground on these issues, but we have the support of the majority of residents. Even in California, we have support of the people. That's really important. And I also want you to know that these efforts multiply over time, and even when we push the envelope just a little bit, we can accomplish some amazing things. I'm going to share with you a quick anecdote, ladies and gentlemen. When I was mayor of my city back in Los Angeles County several years ago, we took on the public schools, the corrupt public schools in inner city Los Angeles that was cheating the parents and distorting the educational future of the children. In this case, we had children that at 75% were failing to read or perform basic arithmetic at grade level, and those standards are already low to begin with. Yeah. And this is related to this issue that we're talking about today, ladies and gentlemen, because for every unit of time that the corrupt schools spend on indoctrinating children or over-sexualizing them is a unit of time, the same unit of time that they don't spend teaching children how to do math or science or think critically or think analytically or do science. And that is an injustice for our children because it ill-equips them for the future and harms our economy and our potential going forward. And that is also an injustice. And so I took that on. And let me tell you what I did as mayor. Even though the political class at the time told me to stay away from the public schools, they told me, Jack, you are not a school board member. Hands off the schools is what they said. But even though it was not within my formal jurisdiction, it was certainly within my moral obligation to get involved. Yeah. And let me tell you what I did. I held public hearings as mayor on the quality of education in the local public schools in the city council chamber with no authority over the schools. But I did that, and I had testimony at the microphone, at the public podium, from teachers and parents and students. And by the way, let me say something about teachers. We have a lot of brave teachers out there. Make no mistake about that. Many of them support us, but many of them are either afraid or facing the same corrupt system that we are trying to expose. We need to coordinate with them and ally with them. They can be important advocates for our cause. They can be whistleblowers for the corruption that's emanating from the school districts. Don't lose sight of the teachers. In my city's case, when we had those public hearings, I had people, all stakeholders, coming to the microphone, and at the end of the proceedings, we indicted the local public schools as failure factories. And within a few days, ladies and gentlemen, the school board, Los Angeles Unified School District in downtown LA, summoned me to their headquarters. We met at the table, and within a few days, the principal of one of those troubled elementary schools was removed, and the rest of that corrupt administration followed course in short order. I want that to be a testament to what can happen when you push the envelope just a little bit, even if it has no direct jurisdictional authority within your current station in life. And this applies to all of us. We may not be school board members, we may not be elected officials, we may not feel like we're empowered to affect change, but when we push the envelope, amazing things can happen, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm so encouraged. Let me share with you as well a few additional themes of optimism. The polls, which are in our favor, policy initiatives throughout the country, and legal cases in progress. On the polls, ladies and gentlemen, let me just share a couple of points. Rasmussen came out with a poll not too long ago that in California, 2/3 of parents believe that they should have a say in important decisions affecting their children. 2/3. A similar proportion of parents in California are also opposed to medical procedures that involve no consent of the parents. So think about that, ladies and gentlemen. The corrupt politicians in Sacramento are so out of touch with ordinary people in California. We have the moral high ground, and we have their support if we can tap it, if we can expose what's going on, and if we can enlist parents and ordinary people of goodwill throughout the state. Very important, ladies and gentlemen. Policy initiatives throughout the country. School choice is something I have been fighting for many, many years, and it's important. It's not the solution to everything, but it's a testament to what parents are demanding, an alternative to corrupt public education. School vouchers is another corollary to that, to support parents that want Christian education, parochial education, or even homeschooling with financial support. Those movements in the last 12 months have revealed victories in places like Arizona, Texas, Florida, West Virginia, even New Jersey. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got some policy benefits and victories in this particular space, and lawsuits, ladies and gentlemen, from California to Massachusetts to Iowa. Today, there are court cases in progress. The 5th Circuit Court of Appeals, the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals are already delivering partial victories to us. And don't forget the United States Supreme Court, which is positioned more than it ever has in modern history to start voting our way and affirming constitutional precedent with respect to parental rights. So don't lose sight of the courts, don't lose sight of policy prescriptions that are working, and don't lose sight of the polls that favor our side. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a revolution coming in this country and in this state. Don't get it started without me. God bless you all. God bless you.